making custom figures is a thing that every good Lego person can do, but I've never done a series on it. I know other people do, but so someone asked a question, and it got me thinking. Just to make just a little more freestyle video here. We got some pictures to look at, but first, let's talk about the question. The question was something along the lines of I might put the actual words for it on the screen for you guys to see or in the description. But how do I make a Bard and Druid minifigures? And I don't have a big collection, so the collection's going to be the hardest part, guy. He's got a small collection, and he's going to do it. So, first of all, I started off with researching what... I know about bards and druids. You think of a guy with big old horns, and you think of a suave person coming in and taking all the pants in a room and leaving. And that's a bard, and the first one was the druid, the big antler thing. So I put together some stuff, but let's talk about the process. So first of all, these are the ones that I came up with. This guy for a druid and this guy for a bard, and you're like, those are pretty good, but we'll talk about the decisions here. So I looked up in D&D because that is the go-to thing for a lot of people. He didn't specify what he wanted them for, and the bards can use light armor and druids can use medium armor, which means druids can also use light armor. So light includes leather, padded, which is just fancy for cloth armor, and studded, which is again leather. Medium includes hide, which is combinations of leather and fur, a little bit thicker. Chain shirts type stuff, light chain, not an entire chain mail suit. Scale mail, wearing a breastplate or half plate. So those are actual real good defensive options. Which, but they're both casters, right? So if they're casting, light is preferable for spells in most settings. The lighter your armor, the better you are at casting stuff. So let's talk about easy things to pick up. And the easiest way to get figures is, of course, minifigure series. You can always go and get some sets and stuff if you like it. We don't have a true castle line for minifigures. I did also assume human. I didn't pick up any monsters exactly. I'll show you what I mean. So in here, there's only two that are. This is series 15. There's only kind of two that I would consider maybe not human. This is a shark suit, which you could make a shark man if you wanted, and that's that's a fawn. Centaurs have 4 legs. Fawns have goat butts. And he could be a druid or a bard because he's definitely got a musical instrument, and that is another big thing with bards. Am I wrong? Other notable examples of druids, maybe you could use the farmer because he comes with a pig. Anything with an animal companion. So the worker here, that's series 15, probably a little harder to find right now. So, nothing else that screams bard to me other than the fawn. I want to call him the centaur. Series 16, this guy screams bard. Anyone wearing a banana suit screams bard. Animal companion wearing literal skin of a dead animal. I guess you could count the shark man as a druid if you're counting that as an animal skin. Animal companion if you're counting spooky boy. This guy, though, that would be the easiest one. I would recommend picking up for just an off-the-shelf bard. And I don't think there's anything better, more recent. There's some different instruments out and stuff, so if you don't want the guitar, but the guitar is great. I did use that guitar and the dog show man's hair for my custom one, which we'll get back to. We're also going to go through series 18, right? That's what we're on, 18. Animal companion, wearing the skin of an animal, animal companion and skin of an animal, skin of an animal, skin of an animal. Those could all be druids if you want to get technical. None of them scream bard to me except for that guy's damn winky wink face, which I used for my bard. That's what I used there. You could count that could be hide if you wanted to. This could be hide. It's a dragon hide, so that's probably questionable in your setting, but in a unicorn, he's got a shield and armor, or shield and sword. No armor, but I don't see why either of those things would be inappropriate for your bard or druid, actually. Next up is Harry Potter, and then the last one we're going to do is Batman series 2. Harry Potter, we got a lot of animal companions in this series. I went with yellow because that is the proper Lego skin color, but if you're into flesh ones, any of those could work. I mean, why not? They're all spellcasters with animals. We also have Newt back there, which would be appropriate for a druid, I think. Why not? Sure, you could be a spellcasty druid. And then last up, that's a bard. A bard. Those are kind of modern setting. Definitely a bard here. Druid. I mean, Batman's literally holding a dolphin, so that's a thing. Maybe Apache Chief could be a druid, but he doesn't really do anything. He's got shape shifting. He's got shape growing. I guess these two could be because they ship. Anyway, I didn't love the parts in the recent CMFs for you, my friend, unfortunately, but don't worry. I think that's okay. So what I came up with for this one, that is the Island Warrior body and legs. And then this head is used on a bunch of different things. It's in the mining team pack, which is where I got it. And then also in some train stuff and different things like that. And then I put this big headdress, which I find that just screams druid to me. It's a crab headdress from a giant crab that technically could be armor, but it's kind of like hide because it's from an animal, but it also does have the eye stalk still. So anyways, and then I give him a big cloak because I think druids definitely need a cloak. So that's that boy. And this one, so kind of some things that I like about the druid class is that, not druid, this is a bard class. Wow. Bards are that they've got spells from music, which is a very basic kind of magic in a lot of settings. So easy enough. Gave him that very charismatic face winking at you. Gave him that flowing hair. Doesn't quite match the eyebrows, but it's up to you if you want to change it. I gave him a hobbit torso. It's got no flesh printing, and it's all scratched up, unfortunately. And it does have back printing. And then I gave him a utility belt. And I think that's appropriate. I gave him red legs because I think they're pretty gnarled up, and it kind of matches the outfit. He's kind of out doing stuff, but brown would be just as appropriate, and without the utility belt if you cared. I also gave some extra options for accessories that you might want to include if you're purchasing these online. If you're finding them out of your parts bin, I mean, whatever you got works, which is great. Gave him that red, and then I'm going to give him a scarf, because I feel like a bard would have a scarf on. And I lost the head now. There it is. So that would be my completed bard. And he's got all of his music going on. He's got a satchel full of, not satchel, but utility belt type thing, belt with pouches for different things that he'll need on his adventure, kind of ranger-like in practice, and then of course the scarf, which is very appropriate. I also pulled out this. It's a snake-shaped staff, and I think that's very appropriate for a caster type class, but it does scream warlock or something because it is a cobra, but I think that's fine for my druid. He's going to be casting some kind of elemental power stuff, and looks good. So those were mine, but let's talk about options, because that's a big thing. You're going to be like, why would I watch such a long video? So first of all, some classic options. We'll talk about these first. What counts as scale and heavy and light and different things? So I came up with some classic examples of all the different things I could think of that would count as different stuff. The brown legs were before. So for cloth armor, padded, I have this old ninja robe. No printing on the back because it's fairly old, but it does also show a dagger and a necklace, which is that looks great for D&D. Honestly, that's a great looking D&D piece. Other light armor, cloth. This one possibly wouldn't even be armor; it would just be literally cloth outfit. And that's from Ninjago movie. That's more recent, so it does have some back printing, which is nice. And then the very classicest example is the Forestmen. They're just plain colored legs, I find are appropriate for a lot of things. And that's most definitely just cloth that this man is wearing. So next up, let's continue with the light stuff. And we're going to do, I don't have leather, because that's hard, but studded. Studded could look like either of these, which, again, would be leather underneath there. But studded. And if you're looking these up online, they're all kinds of different castle sets that they're involved in. But this one's actually a soccer goalie outfit that they used. But you can see the studs running down the front, and this one also has studs and leather and fabric together. Very high belt on that one, but those would both be appropriate for either of the two classes we're looking at today. Here is some scale mail. A very classic example. He's got the neck fabric to pad it out, and then just scales, and there's some silver printing in there. Very nice. So that would be an appropriate option. Oh, and then we're going to go to this guy. This is also probably scale mail. I would count that as scale mail most of the time. So a medium armor. Very nice, and it looks great. It doesn't go down the arms, which definitely lends itself to being just a scale vest, which, again, very medium option. I did have these Barbarian. Those are, I think that's the Gladiator CMF from recent Wave 16. Don't hold me to that. Gladiator legs. They've got dual molded for the boots, though, of course, and just a cloth loincloth. So that would be a very light option. And then we're going into the half mail, or this could possibly even be a breastplate if you want to be technical. We've got some rivets going down the sides. And this is just a classic looking dude. That's obviously not his original face, probably not his original legs, but that's a classic design, and that was a Dragon Knight. Very good for some little bit heavier options. Now, Ninjago kind of is in a weird spot because it's our best options for a lot of medieval armors and stuff. This one is a matching torso and legs, but they'd be appropriate by themselves. That's probably a little bit of a pieces of plate on his legs, the higher bit of plate. But I mean, it definitely has that pattern like it's chain or something. So that could just be some chain sections. So that could still be in your medium options very easily, and possibly even light options, being that he is a ninja. We do have some more printing around the back that I'll remove the armor to show you. And that's, I believe that's stone coal, and then you throw that armor on there, and that's a very good medium option. And I think that it does have that logo, which is his dragon logo, I guess, but just a very good medium option. And if you were going to make your own Druid or something, why not? And then this one is also a Ninjago figure. He is from that figure pack, and let's take his thing off because that's just a holder for weapons, so we don't even need that. Now you do have to change out those arms if you're going to be using him as a yellow-skinned person. But gray, I mean, isn't terrible, and you could use it as sleeves, I guess, if you really wanted to. He does have an animal crest there in the middle. Very beautiful looking animal crest. And this strikes me as a very light plate. Lots of small plates put together, perhaps even a tusk or bone mail. It is gray and shiny-ish, so it's not got a ton of silver in there. So it could be anything. And then around the back shows it basically only is armored on the front. There's some layers going around the back to attach it to the back, but that's a very light option. And then this is a very great pair of legs for just about anything. It's a two color. It's a gray and black, so it's showing he's got boots and gray pants. You could throw that on anything. So let's just finish out the video with a couple more examples that I actually threw together for you for your Druid and for your Bard. So first up are two Bards I made. These are little lady Bards. This is a very classic outfit using an old pirate torso, I believe. That's pirates. And something on my hand. It's an old pirate torso using a newer CMF face, and that's a newer hair, I believe. But it looks good. Very voluptuous torso print, curvy body. Obviously cloth, probably not even padded, so not even cloth armor, but appropriate for your bard, and it's on an orange base plate so you can remember what it is. And then this one's a little bit more high-class lady. She's got some very bright hair color, and she's got that new, if you're into building your own minifigures on the minifigure bars at your local Lego store, this one is a reprint of a vampire body, so she does have those white hands, which are perfect for gloves. The cape is the Highwayman cape, which I like how it folds down, covering up stuff very nicely. The bottom has a belt with some vials, which just good for an adventure body. Lots of options here. So I was trying to find some ready-made bards that I would have that would fit D&D, and I couldn't find any, but I did find several ready-made druids. These are the CMF remake ones, I believe, of the cave people, the caveman and the cave woman. They've got printing on the back, very nice. They both hide armor, so they are a little scantily clad because it looks like they made their own, but appropriate enough. And if you wanted to, an actual fun one is that for the female bard, if you wanted to be on the male bard too, you could druid. These are druids. Male, female druid. Throwing on those cat ears just makes an adorable little hide bard. Druid. Oh my gosh. It's a druid. Those are appropriate for adventures too. And then him, of course, this guy. Great looking figure, and he's wearing hide, so that makes it appropriate for, you know, druiding. And then obviously I did have the fawn, and he's technically not human, but you know, just an option that I thought I would include in the video. If you want to see me make some more of these videos, of course, you let me know. Leave some suggestions with what kind of fantasy characters you'd like, and I will, of course, probably mention them eventually. And one last thing I almost forgot, actually, is that no druid is complete without a pile of animals. So whatever kind of animals you have are flying around, just stack them up behind the bard and druid. Holy damn, that's not good. Oh, and also a coonskin hat. I feel that that's a very appropriate hide armor piece for headwear. Yeah. But that's the video. Thank you for sitting through all of that. That was an extraordinarily long video. And you're probably like, I didn't really need that in-depth of a look at how to make some people. But hey, that's what I'm gonna do if you guys want to watch it. So like I said, let me know what you want to see me make. Warlock next, maybe? Who knows? Subscribing in the middle is easy as sitting on top of dogs. Over here is an automatic video, and this pile of figures over there is a video I picked for you. So that's a long video. Well, thanks for sitting through it, guys. If you made it to the end here, you're the champions.